Hello, I'm Ben CleverName, and this is my submission for Awesome Games Done Quick 2025. My hope is that I can be accepted to take part in an any percent race against a few other runners who have also submitted for this event. In accordance with that, this submission showcases what I would consider to be a typical speedrun that might be performed during the race. This of course means that there are no resets, and that there are likely to be a few mistakes throughout the run, which might not show in a PB, such as when I missed my impact webs earlier. Mistakes aside, this run showcases multiple examples of the evolution of speedrunning for this game, employing a mixture of new and old strategies to get the best time. For example, this search for justice strategy is one I personally developed after watching a tool-assisted speedrun for reference. Before the strategy was developed, the average runtime for Search for Justice was around 1 minute 4 seconds, and now the average runtime is around 1 minute flat. As of this recording, the world record for this level stands at 59 seconds. Moving on from the first level, the second level's main strategies have remained pretty much the same over the years, with the only notable differences being in how we choose to fight the guards. You'll notice here that I'm positioning a guard to be in front of the garage door. This is so I can hop on his shoulders and clip through the door, skipping an otherwise required fight and a cutscene which, when activated, would relocate one of the guards behind a locked door.
Can't let anything stop me. I have to find a way to shut off the power so I can get through. Now to find the guy who killed Uncle Ben.
We need to take this guard out so we can unlock the garage door over there.
Get that back if I want to open that door. This fuse should get that door open. This is where the fuse goes.
Then we web zip through the corner of this wall, putting us back in the main area. After that, we take out the last two waves of required thugs. Once those thugs are defeated, the doors open and we can move on to the next level. Unfortunately, you can see how I sort of fumbled during the end of this level, missing a few impact webs and even web zipping in the wrong direction afterward. Birth of a Hero is another level from which we exploit guards to get around in, using their shoulders to clip through doors. For whatever reason, this question mark's positioning is different on PC and console, and while you can usually just jump over it on console, on PC, you have to get creative.
This door is locked. One of these jerks must have the key.
The first boss in the game is ironically one of the worst for speedrunning. Sometimes the game will give him iframes, prolonging a fight. Most bosses' iframes are countered with web attacks, but Spike very commonly dodges those. Oscorp's Gambit is the first level in which Peter dons the iconic movie costume. The first part of the mission involves taking pictures based on player input, and the second part involves fighting a group of robots.
That was okay, but the shots need more action. Not bad. That should do it. Okay, I have those. These guys are really persistent.
By crawling across buildings, we can manipulate where each of the robots spawn, and quickly take care of them with swing kicks or whip dumps.
That's the.
In this level, you're tasked with fighting through an array of thugs and saving hostages. Speedrunners can manipulate where and how guards spawn in the level by strategically facing their camera in certain directions.
Dibs on the spider. You're gone.
Lucky for us any percent runners, there's no penalty for getting hit once or twice throughout the run. You can see here that I take advantage of this fact by having a guard punch me as I equip blood gloves, cancelling the equipping animation. My intended strategy here was to hit each thug with a swing kick and finish them off with an impact web, a sort of reverse strategy from Search for Justice. Unfortunately, I ended up missing, so I had to quickly improvise.
Help! What's going on? You really ought to pay more attention. Heads up! Right behind you. Web slingers here.
You might have noticed that I've been taking out groups of thugs with a single combo, the elbow slam. Because I'm playing on easy mode, the guard's HP are low enough that I can beat one guard with the first two hits and another guard right after with the third and last hit, provided I use web gloves to boost my damage. This is especially useful for this level and for Warehouse Hunt, where you're required to fight groups to move on. This level is interesting to me because the very beginning has you taking out a single thug in order to unlock the door and move on. Although it is possible to use the same guard placement glitch to get past the door, on easy mode, it's usually quicker and easier to just take out the thug and get his key.
This current is strong. Heads up! Let's get him!
The same is true for this door too. Although you can glitch through it, in most cases it's just faster to go through the normal way.
That opened the door. I'd better pick up the pace before I lose Shocker. Web slingers here.
In order to pursue Shocker, we have to get rid of the flowing water, but to do that we have to take out Shocker's thug who turned it on and tore the control wheel out to keep us from catching Shocker.
This'll come in handy. Now to shut off that water and get Shocker. Look out! That'll do it.
This level hides a useful combo under yet another locked door, the Advanced Web Gloves. While normal web gloves are able to double your damage, advanced web gloves will triple your damage, enabling runners to defeat bosses in single cycles and win early. However, in each case, a player could end up losing their time if they fail to one-cycle bosses, so picking it up can be like a gamble. For those who are wondering, no, that web yank is not part of any strategy. I just did it on accident, because the game requires that I press the jump button to perform a web yank. A similar problem existed with the web gloves, which required that I press the punch button. Here, I web yanked two guards as part of this glitch. This is because it's easier to escape the locked room if a guard is running from outside, and it's usually easier to take out the thug he came in with than it is to push them back out. Even still, you can see here that they were both outside by the end, so it didn't matter. And to finish off the level, you can see where I managed to fumble my web zips some more. The last of Shocker's levels has you chasing him through a subway tunnel. I found a strategy to be able to quickly zip through the tunnels to get to him, but unfortunately I made a mistake while attempting it here. Like with web yank and web gloves, impact webbing requires I press a commonly used button throughout the room, this time being the web button itself. Generally speaking, there are two strategies people use to fight Shocker. The first being impact web spam, and the second being attacking him with advanced web glove combos. I opted for the former because it's more consistent, although it did suffer time loss because of bad timing and Shocker's movement. Next up is Vulture's Lair, which is a level that relies heavily on technique. Although this level does have a few glitches, none of them save time, and so this level is mainly a test of a runner's web zipping ability and accuracy.
Ah, yes. The old swinging log of doom trick. That one never gets old. Who's your landlord, Vulture? Quasimodo?
Beyond just requiring web zipping, this level does have a few shortcuts that the average player might not know about, but which speedrunners can use to their advantage.
That's one heck of a doorbell.
This level, Vulture's Escape, is pretty notorious among speedrunners for this game because of its RNG factor. Because it's such a wide open space, Vulture has a multitude of different routes you could take, which, when added all together, could save or cost the runner a lot of time beyond their control. Fortunately for me, Vulture decided to go the faster route at the start of this run, saving me some extra time.
What's it going to be, Spider-Man? A few jewels or innocent lives? You couldn't just leave this a personal disagreement, could you, Baldy?
You might have noticed how I've been firing a lot of webs at Vulture. That's because Spidey's webs have the ability to disable certain thrown objects in the game, keeping me from being hit and staggered by them. This is a subtle game mechanic that is never acknowledged in tutorials, but which is useful for certain areas of a speedrun. There isn't much else to say about this level, other than the fact that Vulture will actually increase speed if you stay close to him, so it helps to know where he's going and to stay on his neck.
I think the folks down there are wet enough already. I should have waterproofed my costume.
And here we are right at the end of the level. For reasons we're not quite sure about, this level's victory screen has a noticeable delay compared to others. So if a runner isn't careful, they may end up selecting yes instead of no, taking them to the main menu and costing them a lot of time. Air Duel with Vulture is a fairly quick level to play through. We take a slight detour at the start to ensure that we can pick up the Sting combo, which is essential for defeating Green Goblin in one cycle at the level titled The Offer. Since the Dragon Punch isn't available on PC, speedrunners are required to pick up the Uppercut combo at Showdown with Soccer in order to one-cycle Vulture. Unfortunately, it's considerably more difficult with Uppercut, and I ended up having to two-cycle him.
That'll knock the wind out of your sails.
By this point in the game, we're nearing the halfway point of the speedrun, just before we meet Green Goblin for the first time. In this level, Spidey must team up with Scorpion to take down a group of robots hunting them both. The number of robots and their durability vary based on the difficulty. As you can see, impact webbing is a must for this level. By activating the web swing and cancelling it with a jump just after throwing an impact web, I can shoot another impact web out for free, enabling me to deal more damage to the robots. This strategy has been used throughout the run already, but it's most prominent here.
Neither is this Scorpion guy if I...
Scorpion is another boss that can be rather annoying in some runs. Sometimes they'll be just aggressive enough to cancel out your attacks, or tank them with iframes. Other times, however, like here, he'll be just nice enough for you to run
I
through.
don't know who did all this to you.
The first level with the Green Goblin is probably the most boring in terms of speedrunning. At the very start of the mission, runners will activate web gloves and throw an aerial punch at Green Goblin to greatly reduce his hit points. Using advanced web gloves would take him out, but would also softlock the level. In order to proceed, speedrunners have to play through each sequence of the level like normal. However, since Goblin's health is already so low, players only need to hit him with individual web strands each time to trigger the next sequence.
Uh-huh. When you stop lobbing bombs at me, we'll see about that.
This level requires a lot of waiting and would be an ideal spot to read through any donations or comments.
This station will leave more of an impact on people after. How can you be so naive? These people wouldn't lift a finger to help you.
Yeah, well, since they can't fly or bend steel with their...
can't bother with you. I have things to do.
You aren't getting away from me. Are you sure? I think it might
Do
be
you
your
like
muffler.
my toys, Spider-Man?
Oh yeah, great.
Let's find some new people to play with, shall we?
I'd like to vote against that.
I've been burning bridges all day, but I think I'll just knock this one down. Oh, run fast as you can.
The very end of this level has the player chasing Green Goblin until he reaches the park. Goblin is invulnerable to all attacks until he starts talking, but once he starts talking, he's immediately vulnerable again. Hitting him will thus trigger the end of the level. This level, The Offer, has the player fighting Green Goblin across multiple stages, both on and off his glider. By making good use of impact webs and kicks, players can quickly fly through the first stage of the mission. The second stage, however, is a bit more complicated. By reducing Green Goblin's health down to the point just before he would move on to the third stage of the level, players can manage to end a fight early by attacking Goblin with their Sting combo that they got at Vulture's boss battle, provided that they use advanced web gloves. Unfortunately, I hit one too many times, meaning I couldn't take advantage of this trick, and I subsequently lost a good bit of time.
Say yes? Will you give up?
You'll have to do better than this if you want to keep up with me.
The silver lining to this is that at the very last stage of this level, Green Goblin is a lot less reactive, and he can be hit with things that he would previously have dodged or tanked with iframes.
You misguided fool.
Race Against Time is a level that makes good use of the player's accuracy with the web swing. There isn't much to say about this level, other than the fact that if the player gets hit by a spotlight, they will be shot at by missiles and most likely be stunned and have to restart their swinging.
2? Green and Gruesome isn't playing fair. Three? I think that guy may really want to hurt someone. Oh! Only one? I can't believe I'm relieved to only have to disarm one bomb. No more? Thank goodness.
The Razor's Edge is another level which requires decent movement technique to get across it. The Razor Bats always go out in one hit, but the player has to destroy 50 of them, and they tend to spread out a lot. By positioning ourselves at the appropriate spot and attacking at the right time, we can destroy whole waves of Razor Bats with one attack. Unfortunately, I didn't position myself correctly and ended up missing some of the Razor Bats in this wave. Luckily, however, the timer for the next wave already started, so as long as I could destroy the leftover Razor Bats before that wave, I wouldn't actually be losing any time in the run.
Those things just keep coming. I'd better find some cover before they land a lucky shot and things turn ugly. I think I saw a construction site around here.
Breaking and Entering is a level which was intended by the developers to be very stealth-oriented, by introducing a tough class of robots called the Super Soldiers, which patrol the area when the alarm is turned on. If the super soldiers were to attack me while I was looking at the computers, then the sequence would be broken and I'd have to interact with the computers all over again. This is why maneuvering past them is essential for runs. It's entirely possible for a speedrunner to play through this level without the alarm coming on, but on some level it's safer to turn the alarm on in a spot that you know you can play around than it is to hope that it doesn't turn on at the very end. For the sake of a race, I would opt for turning it on at that point.
Just need one more. Can't get caught now. Intruder! Okay, now I should be able to get that blast door open. Let's see if I can figure this out. Got it.
Chemical Chaos is the second level with the super soldiers, although the AI in this level is considerably different compared to breaking and entering. For starters, on easy mode, only 2 super soldiers spawn in here, and they can sprint around the level rather than just walk. Additionally, if a player touches a camera or a laser, the super soldiers will be immediately pulled toward the position of the trap. This occurs even after the alarm is already turned on, but the effect goes away at the very end after Dr. Wu spawns in. Naturally, Chemical Chaos features a lot of web zipping, but given the aforementioned trap mechanic, runners have to be careful not to touch the wrong thing at the wrong time. This is a level that gets highly recommended for general speedrun practice for that reason. Thanks to playing on easy mode, Dr. Wu's HP value is actually very low, so he can be quickly taken out with these web whips, which also serve to cancel out the super soldier's rockets which might otherwise hit and stun me. With Chemical Chaos out of the way, we only have 2 more levels left of Oscorp, and 4 more left of the overall game. Oscorp's ultimate weapon tasks runners with destroying a giant killer robot dubbed the Leviathan by literally breaking its neck. Unfortunately though, its neck is protected by shield generators, so runners have to destroy them first.
That's the last generator. Now for that sensor array. Oh!
Escape from Oscorp takes you back to the very beginning of Oscorp, hunted by an army of super soldiers with no opportunities
That
for
looks like a
stealth.
security console.
The game wants you to play through the level by traversing the different hallways and deactivating laser walls and gun turrets, but because the glass windows in this level are breakable, speedrunners can bypass that aspect of the level entirely and fly through to the end. Mary Jane Kidnapped is the second to last level of the game, and is a sort of antithesis to Vulture's Escape. While Vulture's Escape has the speedrunner attempting to stay as close to Vulture as possible, Mary Jane Kidnapped, ironically, has you taking the opposite approach. While playing on easy mode, Green Goblin will stop his movement after throwing out one of his bombs, giving the player time to react and get back to chasing him. This mechanic will only work past a certain distance, however, and if the player is far enough away, then Goblin will keep going, giving players an unintuitive means to save time. On a personal level, I find this level interesting just based on the fact that there are so many different ways a player might attempt to balance out this mechanic, and it's fun to see the different routes they might go for. It's also excruciatingly painful when players fail a run while trying to exploit this, as someone who's done so before.
Falling behind.
I've got to go faster.
We're approaching the end of the level now, and thus near the end of the run, with only one last level left to play through. The final level for the speed run, Face Off at the Bridge, is luckily very fast and very straightforward, with runs of it typically only lasting around 20 seconds in bad circumstances. By starting this level out with an impact web followed by a swing kick, Goblin's glider HP will be brought back down to the point to where he will be forced off his glider after only a few more attacks, and, because it's a swing kick, Goblin will be stunned immediately afterward, allowing players to capitalize on this fact very easily with web lasers, taking him down with 100% consistency. From there, the only thing left to do is to finish him off with web attacks to prevent him from getting back onto his glider and stalling the fight. Alternatively, players may opt for using the Haymaker, which they can receive through Escape from Oscorp. And with that out of the way, the speedrun is done, my commentary is done, and shortly after, the video will be done. Once again, I'm Ben CleverName, thank you for watching, and I hope to see you at the event.
But the best surprise is still to come. Tell Harry I'm sorry.
I'm sorry too. Mary Jane, there's something I have to tell you.
I know, Tiger. You don't have to say.
Yeah, that's my life. Complicated. Looks like you're done now. Go outside and play.